喂 I can hear you.
Can you hear me sneezing? Because I
Yeah.
can smell the smoke. We can be in a conversation. Don't say something to discuss anything or to make it personal. I'm recording now. But we can still have normal conversation. Everything's fine. Just don't say something like,
Okay. Whatever you say, what it could be.
of course I can.
What is that for?
I want to record something for my Dr. Taika channel. It's going to go for 24 hours. Because I'm not going to, my plan is not to use the phone today, so it's a great moment to record until tomorrow morning. Nothing. But if I could we can still have a normal everyday thing, just don't talk about super strong.
This is gonna go
I already mentioned to you, I wanna have, then I can watch it back and get context. We don't have to hold too much, okay? Everything's, we can have a normal day, just, I have to make sure I don't say something too disgusting.
But then that's gonna be on live.
No one's gonna watch it, because it's all black, and as soon as they see that it's 24 hours, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna watch it. Anyway, how's your brother? In the shop? Oh, I forgot what that kind of floss is called, and I didn't bring my phone. So it's like, I said to them, oh, my wife told me what kind of sandwich she wants, but I forgot what it's called. I said, oh, it's bro something, Dan sandwich. And then the lady said, oh, rotafan? And then her husband looked at her like this, and then she's like, oh, niya ganbeng, huh? And then her husband just, he looked down at the burners. Like they both heard me say sandwich, and she kept repeating things that don't make sense. And then he looked at me and he said, what's that called? Rosong? Like, yeah, rosong. And then I said, rosong dan sandwich. We'll finish on that. And then I got 4 coffees for free.
How? From last one?
Yes. Maybe I bought 4 yesterday and I paid for it. So today there were 4 for free. Including
Yeah,
one.
where's the drawing today?
Really? That's good. Maybe she gave us the extra one. You're right. Tastes good. Too strong. You want to add water over my milk powder? Good thing you told me, then I won't go crazy like I usually do.
Who's struggling? Maybe one cup is good.
Yeah, considering I already had a sugar coffee, and I have to wake up tomorrow morning around 5:30. My PDs, I have to be there at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. Why don't they just start? I'm not complaining, but logically speaking, considering they invited people from an international school in Taipei, Taichung, Taoyuan, Hsinchu, Taichung, why don't they make it at 9? Because think about it, if I have to wake up at 5:30, that pretty much means the Taiwanese people will wake up around 1 or 2 a.m. and then foreigners will stay in a hotel.
Yes, people want to go home early. And it's certain hours. Yeah.
I researched those that PD. The two girls that are gonna be giving the PD, they went to India this summer already to do the same PD.
What kind of PD is that?
AI. You shouldn't punish your students to use AI because they're cheating. You should learn how to use AI as a tool. Learn how to teach the students how to use AI as a tool rather than just for cheating. And they said there's no better person than you to teach them because you're already teaching them. So you're the best person to give them guidance. Beyond that, I'm more interested in this. One of the people giving the AI has 6 years of experience in international schools. That's it. So like, the other person has like quite a few years of experience. And I'm like, 6 years only, and then she's already doing this kind of stuff.
It's not about,
Can I?
you have to have good knowledge. You cannot say, because 6 years is nothing. It's how much does she know about it? Can you, I don't think you're mature enough about AI.
No, I'm not talking about AI, but TESOL.
I don't know. Do you have
I could teach
amazing,
local teachers how to stop being teacher-centered. I can give them some, like what I learned when I was at, if you go first. You were talking, I think you were talking.
say, what interrupted that?
When I was at BUFS, I trained myself how to be extremely teacher-centered when teaching ESL, and to think, to give extremely outside-the-box conversations, how to teach grammar but in a meaningful way, incorporating all 5 skills but making it all relevant to their real life and also fun. I don't think no one in our department, and I'm not trying to brag, it's just, I'm very objective when I say this. Most of the professors just follow the book. They're like, they don't have enough experience, they're lazy, or they just say, well, the university doesn't pay us enough to go beyond what we're supposed to do. They are good, don't get me wrong. We got rid of all the bad professors. The professors that we kept there for like 5, 6, 7 years, they're good at what they do. But the reality is, I gave them an international school style. I went beyond international school. I incorporated IB, Montessori, Reggio. 90% is because of whatever you suggested to me. So, like here in Taiwan, when I walk by in high school, they do speak English to the students. I'm not sure how many percentage they speak English to students, not much. In middle school, it's almost 0. How is a student? Of course, because they're teaching them how to pass an exam. That's the only goal that the teachers have. Because the government's educators care more about money and they care more about the parents. Don't upset the parents. They don't care about education. So I can go in and teach the teachers, this is how you can actually help the students learn English rather than help them learn how to pass it.
written word is this, national curriculum is this. As a job, this is a job to save their life. They have to follow curriculum. And how I think that, if you can give them, I already have my own answer, because I'm doing it.
I already have an answer too.
Yeah, so if you're gonna be a PD workshop leader, you need to give them a real solution rather than talking. A lot of workshop leaders just talk and no experience of has firsthand. I went to so many, the only thing is about books, theory, because I wonder, maybe but the reality, you go into the classroom, you cannot put those things in the reality classroom because it's not work. No. Book is a book, kiss is kiss, human being child, it's alive. You cannot do it as a book say. Curriculum, national curriculum is there, they have to follow. School of helping, they have to follow. IEP standards are this way. We have to go around it. We cannot say take a whole dictionary. No, not like that. I haven't.
Okay, tell me your answer, and then I have my own answer.
You
I
tell
wanna-
me.
No, I wanna hear your answer.
No, I want to hear yours first.
Okay, when you're, in my experience, when I'm teaching a student how to pass an exam, I'm teaching them skills like speed reading, which incorporates like skimming and scanning for the keywords. Like, you can't, for example, if you have 60 multiple choice questions to answer in 60 minutes, or long. On a national, that's an advanced placement. Can't spend, so because you can't spend 1 minute on every question, right? Okay, teach them like, if you don't know the answer, because after skimming and scanning, you can, I don't need to tell it, repeat all the test taking skills, you know all of them, right? So, yes or no?
Yeah, okay, continue.
So my point is, rather than not teaching them how to use English in reading, writing, speaking, and listening, just teaching them how to pass an exam, I can use real material to accomplish the same goal, and they will get a better score. For example, I ask the students, they under their chair, they have a compartment, like a shelf.
Okay.
In the,
I know what you want to cancel, but I have to interrupt. Because I'm trying to remind myself what I'm going to say to them. Okay, continue.
beside them on the floor, they have a pile of books up here. On the desk, it's just a storage area for more books. Inside the desk, more books. Behind the chair, a school bag full of books. Every single student, let's say there's 28 students in the class, every single student is just a collection or a warehouse full of books. I said, okay guys, we're going to talk about how I believe you can learn English. Show me your novel. 30 students, every student has a minimum of 50 books. How many books then? 50 times 30. That's a lot of books, right? It's like what, 1,500 books? I'm not good at math. How much is,
I don't know, that's not the point.
Yes, it is the point. So then you raise your hand, raise your hand, show me your novel. Not one student can show me a novel. I'm going to bring up the research. I'm not going to teach research. Let's bring up the research. Studying for how to pass an exam in a textbook versus using a novel. Both are decent ways to teach English. ever, if you only have one choice, the novel always wins.
How
So
did you know that novel is always?
research.
What's the
People have
research?
PhDs all over the world. People have done thousands of doctorates and research papers that have been published to prove that reading novels works. That's just one example. So rather than buy that silly English book that's been used for 1,000 years in Taiwan, you know, that's the Taiwanese magazine. Every student has every month, they get, or every week they get a new issue, and teaches them useless things like how to rent an apartment. I remember 20 years ago I was using the book. So one page is English, the next page is Chinese. So no one's going to read it. We're going to read the Chinese. The novel doesn't have Chinese. The student doesn't have the skills to hit that novel, then they should buy a dictionary, or they can use the Cliff Notes version, the easier one that's in yellow. Research shows that people who learn English in the immersion or bilingual setting always score higher on the exam.
Why is that?
So, well, they asked me, like, Michael, why Taiwan focuses so much on the quantity of education? Why are we never catching up to Europe and America? Because you focus too much on studying for an exam, you don't learn. You know how to memorize, great. You can do 1,000 different kinds of math skills. Show me, except for an engineer or a math teacher, show me how that's practical in the real world. So you learn how to speak. You don't get spoken to for 60 minutes in Chinese and expect that you're going to become good at English. You sit there and the teacher talks for 60 minutes straight in Chinese to teach you about English grammar. Is that a joke? I never learned how to learn grammar in 20 years of education. I think my grammar is pretty damn good as a natural speaker, native speaker. So stop asking kids to memorize. Stop asking them to provide them activities where they're speaking, where they're writing. For example, on my website, ealcafe.com, warm-up activity. They just have a group of 4, they have casual conversation. It leads to writing. It leads to reading a page, which native speakers do. They might sit on a carpet, if it's elementary school, if it's in a group setting, talk to each other about reading. But if you don't understand the word, ask your classmate. Don't automatically just take your phone out and look it up on the internet. What does that word mean? Because in Taiwan or other countries, they'll just put the word in Korean or in Chinese. What does it equal? Oh, great. That's what it means. No, talk to your friend. If they don't understand, use a book dictionary. Because if you touch paper, you use a real dictionary, a real novel, not an e-book, a real novel. You retain 70 to 80% more information. You're not allowed to use your native language in that setting. And then after you read and have a discussion about whatever the subject is, and it always has to be meaningful to them. You can't ask them, oh, let's go to Indonesia to learn about how women are not allowed to work in a coffee farm. Or something silly like that. show them something meaningful, like learning about nail art, learning about different makeup styles. It's always, let's learn about sports, let's learn about hobbies. Girls don't like, a lot of girls don't like sports, a lot of guys don't like sports too. But so like my lessons that I created on ealcafe.com has I have 40 chapters, only one is about sports. Of course I chose soccer because in the world, the entire planet, soccer is the #1 sport. So at least I chose something that's like meaningful to the majority of people, but I have subjects on video games, smartphone, K-pop, things they like. So, or nail art, makeup styles, hairstyle, fashion, food and drinks. Everyone loves to eat. Except for Mongolia, the majority of people in Asia are huge foodies. It's bad. Then they have to write. They write it, they work together though to write. They write something on the page, they send it to me, I grade it, give them feedback. Then it moves on to the I think grammar. But grammar is always very fun. I'm not going to repeat the same thing they learned from grade 3 until grade 12. Past participle, future simple, blah, blah. No. I learned that style of grammar when I studied French. When I graduated high school, my French sucked. I tried. I didn't just throw my arms up and say, I hate French, I'm not going to do this. I tried it. But the way they taught us was grammar translation method. It's awful. Everyone knows that. We talked about that so many times when we did our master degree. Grammar translation method is the worst style of learning and teaching. We still do it in Asia because they have to pass an exam. But, so I teach them something fun, they'll always remember. And the students, I got feedback from the students, they said, we loved your grammar lessons. Why? Because it was practical, it was real. Like the grammar of family names. Why is the last name something Berg, something Smith, something Son? The grammar of first names, for example. I have 40 different grammar lessons, but those are the only 2 that I can specifically remember now. Not one time did I teach present tense, present continuous. Then it moves on to just the typical, here are 10 or 20 questions, just have a conversation. But it gives the teacher like ideas. You can mingle, stand up, walk around, find a classmate, write down their answer. Because using paper, pen can help the students. When you're using your fine motor skills, it helps them retain rather than just talk. I don't know, 5, 10, 20 minutes later, maybe you forget what the student was saying. Then, or you can just write your answer down on a piece of paper, crumple it up, have a snowball fight style, just the snowball. Or try to do the speed dating method. That way they have to stand up and sit down, so it gets their blood flowing, it's good for their brain, they get a new conversation partner all the time, and if it's ideal, set it up so it's always boy-girl. Because if it's always girl, boy, then it's not as, because girl can bring strength and weakness to the conversation, boy can bring strength and weakness to the conversation. So it's scientifically proven that they can complement each other when they're having that conversation. There's 25 or 30,000 other styles that they can do. But it's not just provided. They have to write down their own conversation questions as well. It's not all about spoon feeding. And the last part is good for the students who don't necessarily enjoy conversation, but they still have to learn vocabulary. So there's about 5 games: crossword puzzle, word search, jumbled sentence, fill in the blank, match. So at least six different games, but they have to work on it together as a group. The teacher has to make sure they don't work on it one by one, because when they talk to each other, they're like, oh wait, look, they work together, they're doing problem solving. Another book, one of my books is about the environment. You know, so that one is for like this, it's not for the advanced students, but I would say it's for like medium level students who are willing to challenge themselves. And they can learn about air pollution, water pollution. There's a lot of, and plus one chapter in there there's a significant part of the society that doesn't believe in global warming and climate change. So it's incorporating critical thinking. And so using that style plus reading a novel, I could talk to them about learning English through Simpsons and Friends. Of course, those TV shows are maybe a little bit outdated, so you can update it. Teach them how to